My name is Nikki, and you're watching a free Friday class. This is given by Awesome10X every Friday, which you could replay anytime. Thanks for watching the Awesome10X channel. And today we're going to cover Pinterest. I entitled it The Kind Social Media. Whenever you actually enter Pinterest, you always evoke kindness, positivity, optimism, the willingness to actually just do something in your life. Maybe cook a recipe, decorate a home, be fit, and whatever productivity tools. Amongst all the social media out there, Pinterest has always been known bit by Wall Street and most everyone in its user base to actually be the kind of social media that doesn't bombard you with ads. Instead, it just gives you a lot of happy images that you wanted to search from. So right now we live in a world where there are companies that are image based. That would be your Pinterest, that would be Instagram, Tumblr. There are companies that are video based, YouTube, Vimeo. There are business contacts based, such as LinkedIn. There's a kitchen sink of products inside Facebook. You've got Google search engine. You've got location based, maybe Foursquare or Waze. You've got niche, such as asking a question on finance or whatever inside Reddit. Let's say you're interested about GameStop, you go to Reddit. You're interested about a certain penny stock, you go to Reddit. Or you're interested to ask anything, you go to Quora. So right now, there are several social media types. You could see that, and these social media are run with Google. A lot of it is Facebook and Google, actually. So Facebook and Google are actually the largest behemoths in digital advertising, but there is a missed opportunity. And to me, misunderstood is a missed opportunity. Misunderstanding is actually an opportunity to understand each other better and upgrade the relationship into love. Pinterest right now is a visual discovery engine for finding ideas, recipes, home, style, inspiration, your clothing, and more. Usually, people just say it's image. It's a lot of images. With billions already of pins inside Pinterest, you'll always find ideas to spark your inspiration. When you discover pins you love, you just save them on your board and you keep those ideas organized so that they'll be easy to find. You want to travel, you just find an interest in Pinterest. Inspiration is everywhere. This is something that Pinterest believes. You could find inspiration in a cookie, in a recipe for sushi, in plants, whatsoever. This is perhaps one of the reasons why Pinterest is well loved by women. Around 80%, over 80% of the users of Pinterest are women. Among that, almost half a billion people, 400 million of them are women. This is an interesting company, so let's try to understand what Ben Silberman, the co-founder, said in August 2013 about what he thinks Pinterest is. Let's go forward straight to the 8th minute. Let's watch somewhere here, starting here.
Pinterest lets you pin any object, in this case a watch, and it lets you add it to a collection. Right? And that collection can be whatever you want. You can organize it however you please. In this case, it's called Gifts for Guy Friends. And you can show that collection off to your friends. And the magic thing about putting things online is that once it's online, it becomes linked to all sorts of other interesting things. Right? So with that collection, you can actually go ahead and see what are all the items that are related to it. What are the other items that are on that board? What are the other things, in this case from J. Crew? You can see all of the other boards that that particular collection has that item in, and that's a way that you can start discovering items. It was actually kind of an epiphany. We put in a lot of those features as afterthoughts, but what we learned was that those features, right, the ability to actually see all the things that are related to exactly what you want, and then the ability to click through and get back to that item so you can go take action on it, that's what made Pinterest really special. What we learned was that the inspiring thing about collections isn't just seeing your own collection up there all alone for everyone to see, but to see all the other people that are interested in the very, very same things that you are. To see all the other people that are interested in butterflies, to see all the other people that have exactly the same taste in music as you, to see all the other people that are really interested in baseball cards. That was our first big insight. I'm sure there are people at your company, maybe a few people in this room that say, Pinterest, that's that online scrapbook where Midwestern women put up lots of their recipes and hoard them for themselves and then access them in the kitchen. But if you take a little bit of a step back, I think there's something really more profound that's going on. Pinterest is the first tool that lets anybody with a computer organize the world's objects in a way that makes sense to them, by interest, by project, by passion. And in doing so, they organize those things in a way that's really meaningful for other people. Just by doing something that you love, that inspires you, you plug yourself into a network of like-minded people, and you help organize things in a way that makes discovery really, really easy. On Pinterest, people are organizing the web's content at a massive scale. And in doing that, they're making the web a place that was built by companies like Google, that was created with queries and pages, much more human and much more accessible and much more discoverable every day. So that was our first kind of moment where we realized, wow, this would be really, really cool. We should keep on working on it. But there was something else as well that was really interesting. We realized that as powerful as it is to index all of the web pages in the world and match them up with text queries, we could augment that by letting people organize content for themselves. When you think of Pinterest, it's really tempting to think of it as just another social network. It's just like Facebook with more pictures. It's just like Instagram, but there are other people's pictures. But I'd ask you for a second to think about Pinterest more like search, right? If Google's core value proposition is to organize things by text query, Pinterest's core value proposition is to let people organize things by interests. And for everybody that cares about having their product or service found by someone who's passionate about what they are doing in their life, I think this can be a powerful tool. So that was the first moment that was really meaningful for us. And the second one was equally inspiring. What we realized with Pinterest was that we were letting regular people organize all of these things into collections. So this is Tiff, a member of our team. She loves recipes. She also loves music. And she's put all of her collections together online. And as soon as we put it inside of Pinterest, Tiff was able to find other people that shared her particular points of view. And what we found out was that those people weren't the same people that she happened to be friends with in the real world. There are lots of different social networks. There are social networks based upon who you went to college with. There are networks based upon who you work with. But there weren't yet networks based upon the people that share the same interests that you do. And in some ways, that's one of the most interesting networks of all. It's a network that's not defined by geography. It's a network that you choose to be into. It's a network that grows with you over time. As you pick up new hobbies, new passions, as you have a kid, as you get married, you can find other people that enjoy the very same things that you do. Pinterest connects people who share similar interests. And that set of connections between people, the things they love, and the other people that share their passions is what we call the interest graph. So what does it look like in practice? Let's take a pin, something a lot of people think is a little bit mundane, like a jar of Vaseline. And let me underscore that this is pinned from the Vaseline website, and it enters into Pinterest and enters into the interest graph.
So I'll stop you right there. You can of course watch this entire company link. Just find it straight from the website. Pinterest co-founder and CEO Ben Silberman. It's a 2013 video where he was addressing what Pinterest was. And he talked about that important criteria. It was an interest graph. You were now actually being searched, or your social network is based on your interests. So this is interesting.
First of all, thanks.
You have to understand, I'll discuss this other video, 2018, how it has evolved 5 years after and 3 years after. So I'm going to show that to you later on. But what he talked about, and this is actually a Shopify talk, 2018. I'm going to discuss that for you. Why was those things important? An interest graph, if you understand it from Wikipedia, is an online presentation of the specific things in which an individual is interested. Interest graphs have perceived utility and value because of the premise that people's interests are a major aspect of who they are, forming part of their personal identity, and can be used as indicators of what are the things that they would buy, where do they want to go, or who would they want to be with, meet, follow, or even vote for. Relationship of interest graph to social graph. According to Wikipedia, it's not the same thing. You could actually see in Facebook people you just went to college to, who went to college with. It's just your friends. But a social graph only knows that. Whereas an interest graph crosses borders. So you're interested in games, you'll see other people interested in games. That's why we have niche gaming social media entities like Twitch, why Discord even exists. So you could see that those are big niche that it's a huge pie that people actually have a gaming community on their own social media networks, which are their discords. For an interest graph to be accurate and expressive, it needs to take account explicitly declared interests. For example, the likes on Facebooks. So interests as well as implicit interests, such as your likes, your clicks, your comments, your photos, and your check-ins. Social networks are used as a source for this data. So a lot of people, especially advertisers, are using this for sentiment analysis. Interest graphs are being used by marketers for audience-based buying. It's another form of behavioral profiling and targeting based on your interest. As an example, companies like Twitter are more specifically based on the user's individual interests. Interest graphs can be applied to product development using customer interest to help determine which new feature or capabilities to provide in a future version of a product, content discovery, and filtering tasks. So this is an example that Pinterest CEO Ben Silberman discussed about the taste graph. So what's your taste? Do you like Scandinavian? Do you like designs, minimalist? Do you like LE something? Indre some clothing, living room. So now you're getting profiled based on the likes or the hints that you like on your board. I like this discussion, so I'm gonna actually watch it with you here. This is a very important video, so we're gonna watch it together. We'll start with the third minute. This one was a talk of what Shopify and Pinterest were doing together. So it started in 2014. They were together from just two countries. They're now expanding to 27 countries 7 years further. So let's see during 2018 what they were trying to do and how it's been doing so far. Let's start with the third minute. I like the discussion there. So this was a conference of Shopify. So all of their merchants, in order to create more uh, and learn visual imaging. In this case, your search engine is Pinterest because you've got a billion hits. So let's watch it.
And why do they come to Pinterest? They come to Pinterest because it's one of the few places that instead of telling people what you're looking for in words, you can browse through millions of possibilities and select things that you know you love. Whoever said that, a picture is worth 1,000 words, they were onto something. On Pinterest, you come and you see a catalog where everything is handpicked for you. And if you see an item you love, you can take that item and you can save it into a collection. This is a collection of chairs. This is a collection of gardens. This is a collection of style. There are collections of fancy cupcakes. There are collections of tattoos. People make these collections because they're planning for something in the future of their life. They're planning what they want to cook, what they want to buy in their home, where they want to travel. They're planning special events. They're planning the everyday things that they care about. It was Wired magazine that said, Pinterest is the productivity app for planning all of your dreams. And why does that matter? If we were just building an online scrapbook, that would be cool. I love scrapbooking. But it matters because those vision boards about people's aspirational future, more often than not, become their real future. This is Laura. The dress she's holding up, the denim one that she loves, she discovered it on Pinterest, and she never knew that style was out there until she saw it for the very first time. This is Henrik. He lives in Berlin. He wanted to build his first custom bicycle, so he created an inspiration board on Pinterest. This is him standing under the final thing. This is Alyssa. Alyssa was looking for new makeup ideas. She found a new product from Glossier called Boy Brow. She'd never heard of it before, and now sits on the board called My Daily Beauty Routine. All over the world, there are millions of people, and they have very basic visual discovery questions. More than 200 million people use Pinterest every single month, and they don't use it as a sideline hobby to their life. They use it as the tool to plan what they're going to do in the future. They come to Pinterest open-minded, considering what they want, but they haven't been able to form it into words. And the question you might be asking is why? Why is this tool used, and why are other tools being used increasingly for visual discovery services? 9 out of 10 people say that when they see things on Pinterest, it motivates them to go buy things in the future. And it motivates them because what we present is visual. I think that we're undergoing a fundamental transformation in how we consume media. Beginning of the internet, media was really about text. Think about the early days of the web. What do we call a web page? It's called a page. What do we call HTML? It's hypertext markup language. You type into a search engine like Google. You type in keywords. And that's the way that everyone's been navigating the internet until something happened about 9 or 10 years ago. You guys all have one in your pocket. What happened was the smartphone. For the first time, billions of people on the planet have a high-resolution camera in their pocket. They have a vivid touch screen. They can see instead of typing. And it's changing everything. It changes the way that you express yourself professionally. We've gone from blogs to video stories. It changes the way that you talk to your family and friends. You went from text and voice to FaceTime and animojis. And it's changing the way that you discover everything online. I want you to take a simple example. Everyone's been in a living room. Hopefully you have a living room. Try to picture in your mind what you want that living room to look like. What pops into your head? For most people, nothing. They don't really know. They might have a general descriptor. I want it to be warm, or I want it to be cozy, or I want it to be modern. And if you ask them to describe it with a set of words, they're at a loss. They don't know how to type that into a search box. Visual medium and visual discovery is changing that fundamentally. Instead of having to come up with the vocabulary to describe your taste, you can just select the thing that you respond to. Is it the one on the left? Is it the one on the right? Is it something that's more homey? Is it something that's more comfy? And when you give people the tools to express their taste without requiring that they have the vocabulary to describe it professionally, all of a sudden they discover that I do have great taste. I have a taste in fashion. I have a taste in design. I have a taste and a preference on where I want to go and what I want my future life to look like. This is Bali. She moved to New York City. She had to get a new apartment. And she was browsing through Pinterest trying to get ideas. And one couch popped out at her. She didn't know the name of the couch. She wouldn't know how to describe it. She hadn't heard of the brand. It was called Article. And this is her sitting on that couch today. And visual discovery made that possible. What's exciting about visual discovery now that it's online? What's exciting is just how we can do it at enormous scale. Today, there are more than 100 billion pins on Pinterest. They're not random images. They weren't collected by a web crawler. Every one was put there by a real person who cared about it. And what people do with all those images is they organize them into collections that represent their tastes and their future. That couch, it could belong in a minimalist house, a modern house. That plant belongs in a modern kitchen or your minimalist kitchen. Visual discovery lets you annotate all of this data and organize it in a way that's never been possible before. And at Pinterest, a lot of what we've been doing is trying to make sense of this extraordinary set of data. It's something that we call the taste graph. Sounds like a funny idea. Like, taste doesn't feel like the kind of thing that you can quantify and put into a graph. But do you guys remember 10 years ago when Facebook said, we'll digitize your relationships and build a social graph? Or 5 years ago when Google said, we'll digitize entities and facts and create a knowledge graph? We believe that taste can be digitized in the same way.
that if you understand how regular people express their taste, and if you free them of the need to describe it in words, you gain the ability to create a graph like this. And why does that matter? It matters because in a world where there are hundreds of millions of options facing you, you need help to discover the few things that are right for you. Our belief is that building a taste graph will unlock efficiency, not just for regular people who don't want to spend time sifting through 50,000 pairs of black jeans, but for businesses. And we want your help to do this.
Okay, so it's a really interesting talk, by the way. But I have to cut you right there. A few key points that I want you to have heard straight from the horse's mouth, straight from Ben Silberman's mouth. That we love visual discovery. We like a chair, but we don't know how to describe that chair. It's better to just choose the chair based on the picture. Or if you want chicken recipes, we don't know exactly what type of chicken recipe we like. We search it visually, and when we find it, that's the chicken that we want. So we ourselves don't know how to express because our vocabulary may not be enough. We don't know how to exactly define what we want, but when we see it, we know that is what I want. So that is what a taste graph is. Whatever is meaningful to you, anything that inspires you to turn off your computer, to go out, do some of the things that you are pinning, whether it's getting fit, cooking recipes, making your life more productive, that's essentially what Pinterest has become for 500 million people. And you could see that a lot of people said Pinterest really is the most unproblematic app ever. It never crashes, important things don't get deleted, there's no ads, your homepage always just looks on anything you like and nothing else. I really have to agree with you, said somebody. Pinterest has so much to offer. Stunning designs, informative posts, and whatnot. The best part is you can just go on saving the pins that you like according to the category. It's by far one of the most positive social e-commerce media right now. People are actually asked, how much time do you spend on social media? They said that they do spend a lot on Facebook, but they hated the feeling. It was always toxic. They always had a negative feeling. However, when they were supposed to rate which social media app always made them happy, the answer was Pinterest. So let's talk about this app that makes people happy. Pinterest and Shopify realized, hey, let's do a global expansion. In 2014, Pinterest business started with Canada and US. How is it going? 2021, in 7 years' time, they're in 27 countries. So you could see the countries that they are in. So far, the Philippines, however, isn't there, but hopefully it will reach us. How did it start? Pinterest bolsters its e-commerce ties with Shopify partnership. The talk a while ago was Shopify because, of course, whenever you're shopping around, you saw your visual of a future. Whenever you're in Pinterest, you want to actually redecorate your home. You want to actually buy that sofa someday in the future. So you are actually looking forward to shop. There is 9 over 10, 90%, something that advertisers love. Because when you're in Pinterest, although you won't purchase that today, if you're taking a look on perhaps some vacation, Expedia, TripAdvisor knows, hey, maybe you want to actually travel here and stay in this hotel per se. So those are important ideas that you really, really want to do in the next 12 months. In fact, there's a news article that already said that because Pinterest users are all looking forward to topics all about reopening, it's very clear in many Americans that they truly believe that the recovery is underway because all of them are looking forward to travel and a lot of vacation. Pinterest here, you could see, is serving as an online shopping catalog, but you are creating that shopping catalog. And what else could you do? Instead of just doing digital advertising, you help launch a website, or you can click straight from the pin from Shopify to buy that specific jacket that you wanted. You can go straight, and an e-commerce solution can happen if it's a promoted business pin. Pinterest launches a shop and expands their Shopify partnership. As more and more people came to Pinterest, finding inspiration to support small businesses, furnishing their work from home setups, just gifts to cheer up their friends, activities to do with their kids, there's an increasing opportunity for retailers to get their products in front of pinners. We are launching a new app with Shopify, giving more than 1 million merchants a quick way to upload the catalogs to Pinterest, turning their products into shoppable product pins in just a few clicks. Extending the partnership to 27 more factories. When you see a picture and a pin, that shoe you can also buy straight in the Pinterest without leaving Pinterest app. Dynamic retargeting, multi-feed support for catalogs were rolled out. You need to know this. As of April 22, 2021, just 8 days ago, Pinterest is now allowing over 1.7 million Shopify merchants in over 27 countries to easily market. In that time, 350 million users. Now we know it's about 358 million. So it's okay. Sorry. No. I saw it's about 400. We're nearing 500 million users already. We'll go to the numbers later on. With retail evolving rapidly in the wake of the pandemic, many merchants are experiencing success selling through social media and other digital platforms. I know why they wrote 350 million users, because prior to the earnings call 2 days ago, nobody actually knew how many users there are. So this article journal was using 2020 data. Shopify and Pinterest both have acted as leaders in the innovation of retail, leaning on social media, augmented reality, and more. You've heard the right words from Ben Silberman. We started the internet before with text, but with mobile phone, we were able to capture images, and with lack of vocabulary, how do you know what specific thing you actually wanted? A picture really says 1,000 words. So that is really where we are going. Augmented reality. Everyone talked about it, from Microsoft to Facebook to Google, and of course, visual. Pinterest wins in the visual world. Pinterest announced expansion with Shopify, the Shopify Pinterest channel, including Australia, Austria, Brazil, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, UK. The program initially launched in Canada and US last year. So this channel allows you to upload the catalogs for free. So merchants can just upload t-shirts whatsoever, and that is their automatic store. Let's watch a few more things that Pinterest has done this year. A story pin is like an Instagram stories, but it's just for pinners. Pinterest take on actually an Instagram story. How about this one, the creator code? Watch this.
When you're a creator, you definitely get a lot of negativity that comes your way.
Trolls happen, but negativity doesn't get us anywhere.
Pinterest Creator Code is a step towards a better space. It's like an oath.
With this new standard, you're asking people to consider kindness.
When you share your joy, it sparks others to tap into theirs.
Let's call it that.
I don't feel like there's any other social media platforms advocating for mental well-being like Pinterest.
When a platform is able to put boundaries, then you sort of know if you're in the right place.
A kind community definitely encourages me to be so much more expressive.
To inspire others is such a fantastic privilege.
The Creator Code is a recipe for a creator to be 100% themselves.
I do remember for a long time that a lot of Wall Street always said that Pinterest was always very kind. They said that Pinterest was very kind. Okay, I just had to mute everyone else. Pinterest was very kind because for some reason there were no ads. When you go to Pinterest, you don't see any ads. It's time to actually reward a company that doesn't have any ads. It's unobtrusive. Because Pinterest ads are just promoted pins. A lot of the pins that the ads have to do is just to look as if it's just a normal person's ad. That's how Pinterest does advertising, promoted pins. And as you can see, what they're doing right now with Creator Code is allowing you to actually showcase your influence, whether it be cooking, whether it be a handicraft, and so forth. This came from a Mary Meeker internet report. Take note, this was 2016. Pinterest got the best platform utilizing to find and shop for products in the USA because it's visual. They weren't going to Facebook. They weren't even going to Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat. What do you use Pinterest for? Viewing photos, finding, shopping for products. Sometimes they share, watch a video, news, networking, but of course, it's just to shop for a photo of a product. So if you know that this is the primary use case that people are doing in this survey, you could learn a lot into just doing the next step, monetizing that. And take a look where Pinterest is very strong at. Recipes. Pinterest was very strong in home cooking. And what happened during the pandemic? From banana bread, dalgona coffee, lasagna, sushi bake, all of these things, cooking has become a popular hobby amid the COVID-19 pandemic because we stayed at home. So a lot of things that you actually did happened during the self-quarantine, and cooking more at home could become the new normal post-pandemic. People said they want to eat healthy, they want to cook. Whatever they did in the last year, they still want to continue even 2021. The rise of home cooking in lockdown. Since March 2019, a significant proportion of the country have been either working from home or out of work. With more free time, they went into the kitchen to experiment. And that's where a lot of meals were cooked, increasing to 72%. Home cooking trends during lockdown were actually healthy eating. Well, some people also were just eating and eating. And so there's also a survey that I think 70% of Americans gained weight during the lockdown, something like that. Now, it's amazing to know that Pinterest just started when? 2010, about 11 years ago. 2010, 2011, that was the founding. And in 37 Signal Jobs Board, Pinterest was still looking for a web engineer. This was Ben Silberman's post in Pinterest. Pinterest is just a 7-person employee company in 2011. Location, Palo Alto, California, Pinterest.com. When you try to study how Pinterest slowly grew to massive scale, it took them 9 months to hit 5,000 users. 9 months. So if you have a business and you think that, hey, I'm going to be it's about, they IPO'd at $10 billion. Right now, the company is roughly in the $30 to $35 billion company now. You might have thought that I'm slow. I'm not growing at scale. Well, think about it this way. In 2010 and 2011, that was just the start when smartphones were happening. So around 10, 11 years ago, that was the big epiphany. Give people a phone, a mobile phone, and give it at a cheap cost, and you can slowly grow an empire. So I'd say that Pinterest would not be Pinterest if it started early, because only in 2010 to 2011 did people love to post a lot of images because you've got a camera straight on your fingertips. If you didn't have a camera, how could you take pictures? So how could you even post images? Ben Silberman saw Pinterest slowly grew to massive scale. In June 2010, he actually left a job, and that job was Google. He was a customer service related something in Google. And prior to that, he was even a medical student. So from a med student to being a consultant for Gartner Partners then, for what is now Gartner Partners. And then he also worked as a customer service for Google. But he didn't like, perhaps he liked the customer experience, but over time he felt, hey, I want to actually do something that I love. And it happens to be the first that he did was Tote. It didn't work out. The second that he did was Pinterest with Evan Sharp, the co-founder of Pinterest. So there are actually three right now: Evan Sharp, Ben Silberman, and Paul Sciarra. So they described this tool just to find inspiration. It's the third largest source of referral traffic on the web. They got started in Y Combinator Startup School. So this is Ben Silberman today, as of April 30, 2021. He's got $4 billion, his real-time net worth. He's the CEO of photo visual site, visual discovery engine Pinterest. It went public in April 2019. With Evan Sharp and Paul Sciarra, they launched their first desktop version of Pinterest in March 2010. If the company remained in desktop, it wouldn't be the Pinterest we know today. Of course, the biggest move of scale, the massive scale, came with the mobile phone. Pinterest let users save, share, image, recipes, hairstyles, crafts, home decor through their mobile phones or computers. Before founding Pinterest, he tinkered with several ideas. In 2007 to 2008, that included a trivia game site, Mighty Quiz. It didn't work out. It's being used by online communities like Artist Direct and SciWorld. The project was also funded by Y Combinator. Prior to that, he was also in Google working as a product specialist. He also worked as customer service. You'll hear from many interviews. And that was December 2006 to November 2008. His first job was an insights and tech company, corporate executive board, now Gartner, where he joined as a consultant in 2003, continued working till December 2006. He is currently 38 years old, 38, 39. So his age is 1982. That is his birth year. Pinterest co-founder has done his studies from Roosevelt High School, Day One, Iowa, and Yale University. This is an important video interview. So I just kept on watching a lot of interviews of how Pinterest evolved. In 2019, I like the discussion, the 10 minutes discussion. Our goal is to get you offline. Let's watch the second minute. This is 42 minutes, but I want you to watch the second to the 10th.
In charge of customers, what was your job exactly like there?
I fielded a lot of customer complaints, password resets, things like that. I originally had gone to school and I was pre-med, so my parents are doctors, both of my sisters are doctors. And when I decided I didn't want to go down that path, I thought being part of the story of the internet would be really exciting, because when I had used the internet kind of for the first time in college, I just felt like there was something so amazing about the fact that everyone has access to information at the same time all over the world.
It's like, what does it take? I always hear people say I just thought it'd be great because like I saw this thing, the internet. Okay, like I'm, it's easy to say in the rearview mirror, but like take me to that moment. Like what was so special for you, bug collector, people person, Ben? Like what was so special about it at the time?
I just remember being in my dorm room and being able to look up anything and having it load super fast. And then just thinking, if everyone in the world is going to have that tool, it's going to change a lot of the things that we take for granted today. Because before the internet, a lot of the information you had access to was a product of where you happened to live or how close you were to a library. And so if everyone had access to information, I thought it would change a lot of things. And I just wanted to be part of that story. So I applied to Google because at the time Google was the #1 internet company. And I took that job because it was the only job I got. But I just wanted to be closer to the place where a lot of those products were being built.
And so you're fielding calls, you're resetting passwords. What'd you learn about people working there?
Well, I think the thing I learned was that customers, sounds very obvious, but customers are kind of at the center of every business. And so even though Google is a technology company, there are other companies that consider themselves design companies. I think companies succeed or fail based on how close they can be to the needs of the people using the product every day. And customer service is like the very, very front line of that. And so years later, when we started Pinterest, I would put my cell phone number on all the customer service emails that went out because I wanted people to feel like there was a real person on the other end versus kind of a robot that could actually answer the questions and understand what was working and what wasn't working about the service.
It's an interesting.
I wanted you to stop right there. You hear a lot about technology companies. I want to be more customer friendly. I want to have customers in front of me. I want to have that customer experience right in front of me. That's the Amazon way. That's how Airbnb always says. We're always there for our customers. You have to understand that Pinterest put the customer first. That's why there were no ads. Or if there were ads, it was unobtrusive. It's very important if you try to listen to this 42-minute. I would have wanted you to listen, but we have more to discuss. But that was a very important thing that you will understand why Pinterest is very different. That's why I called it the kinder social media app. It will never actually succumb to just earning high digital advertising dollars. And that's the reason why people spend more time inside.
I actually thought I would start out
rather than others. So these are them: Ben Silberman, Evan Sharp, and Paul Ciara. This is Ben Silberman with his wife, Divya. So Divya is an Indian, and she also is a Facebook, works for Facebook. That's 2011. A history of user growth. This company went from zero, took about 9 months to hit 5,000. And right now, as I said, in 8 years' time, from that 5,000 in 2013, 2011, sorry, it grew today 500 million. 5,000 to 500 million people. That's an amazing job. Whether it took you a decade, it's an amazing job. In 2013, Pinterest had 70 million users. Okay, I have to fix this one. 5,000 to 500 million took about 10 years. 2010 to 2021. Wait, that's 11 years. Okay, so there. So in 2013, Pinterest had 70 million. Right now, times 7x in 8 years. 80% of them are women. According to the latest reports, Pinterest has 250 million users actively every month. These figures say the growth of Pinterest dramatically. It may not be as big as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, but it is showing tremendous growth nonetheless. How does Pinterest make money? There was an IPO debut. The answer is digital advertising, but why don't we watch it straight? This is just 4 minutes.
Pinterest just went public. At IPO, it was valued at $10 billion. So what is Pinterest and how does it make money?
Pinterest was started in 2010, and it's the creation of Ben Silberman and Evan Sharp, who are ex-Google, ex-Facebook Facebook, techies. What they created is a social app that lets folks bookmark images that they find around the internet.
Pinterest is an online social network where users can bookmark images they find online by pinning them to their boards, which can range from recipes to weddings to home remodeling. Then users can share their boards with friends or all Pinterest users. Users find new ideas by following friends, influencers, and brands, or simply by searching Pinterest's large user base.
Pinterest has 265 million monthly users, and it's a group of users that is mostly women. So it's not a very diverse group, but it is pretty favorable for advertisers who are trying to reach consumers who are going to, spend money.
Pinterest makes money from all those users in one simple way: advertising.
Like most consumer-facing tech companies, Pinterest makes money from advertisements. So its real challenge in this space is competing against Facebook and Google, which basically control the digital advertising market.
Pinterest sells promoted pins to advertisers, making $3 per user last year. Advertisers pay for an ad to surface in their desired audience's home feed or at the top of search results. These promoted pins appear in a variety of formats: a standard still image pin, small or large video, a promoted app, or an image slideshow. Pinterest also has hundreds of retail partners like Ulta Beauty, Lowe's, and Wayfair. Shopping ads invite users to click to buy and can appear in users' feeds when they're in one of those partners' stores.
For the most part, Pinterest users go on the app when they're planning some big sort of event. So maybe they're doing a house renovation, they're planning their wedding, they're going on a big trip. That's when they turn to use the app. So it's not the kind of app that you open on a daily basis. However, when you are using it, it's because you're probably very likely to spend money.
Pinterest's value at IPO is down from its last private valuation of $12 billion 2 years ago.
For 2018, Pinterest made about $756 million in revenue, which is pretty good. It's almost at $1 billion, and they've shown really good growth. However, in 2015, there were projections that came out that had them making about $2.8 billion in this past year. So they are making money. However, they haven't reached the potential that some folks thought it had.
Pinterest took off with rapid growth in 2012, but expansion has tapered off, largely because of what employees told CNBC is a work culture that's slow when it comes to making decisions.
I spoke with 20 former Pinterest employees, and they described to me the culture. It's one where folks are very nice to each other. So it's a very cool place to work. However, it's done very slowly. One former person told me that it's done at a glacial pace. And that's because rather than giving folks direct feedback, they're essentially just doing meeting after meeting to just get everyone to buy in on a project before they move forward with it.
Pinterest is part of a big wave of tech companies expected to go public this year. It's listed as PINS on the New York Stock Exchange.
The thing to take away with Pinterest is that although the company isn't growing users or revenue at the fastest pace, they aren't running into scandal. They are very deliberate about everything that they do, and once they commit to it, they go full force.
So you heard that the company was criticized for being slow to grow. The revenues were supposed to be $2 to $3 billion in 2015, but even in 2021, the revenues are $1 billion. So we will go to the numbers later on. But there's nothing to actually say no to, because what Pinterest does is to wait for everyone to agree upon it before they really act. And when they act, they want to do full force. This is the Pinterest creators. They're working with Canva. They teach creators how to build their following. Let me just show to you, not the video, but I just wanted you to see the initiatives that Pinterest has done for creators. So you can actually make money in Pinterest. So how do you do that? Just like how you do with Google, follow your passion, you build an audience, and then you sell it to your audience. So choose a company that you want to promote and ask for a sponsorship. You want to promote affiliate products, you can use the search engine optimization strategies to get found on Pinterest, similar to how you would use your Google. So there are several pins itself on how to start making money on Pinterest. But basically, affiliate links, sponsorships, selling products or services through that image, becoming a Pinterest virtual assistant, and driving traffic to your blog. So there are people who actually earn $7,000 every month on Pinterest, and that is their career. How to easily integrate your Shopify store? Yes, too. Pinterest announces partnership with Shopify, simple solutions to help Shopify owners easily get their businesses on the Pinterest platform. You could see that there are 10 ways to make money on Pinterest in 2021. Millennial Money Man shows how to make money on the Pinterest blog. Pinterest app. You start a blog, that's one way. You just, it's not the same as Instagram, TikTok, and the rest. But with blogging, you can actually use it because it's a search engine, but it is based on images instead of text. So it will always redirect. There's also ways like this. As long as your account is set up as a business account, to make money on Pinterest, tie it up with a shop. So that shoe, shop the look. So put an affiliate link. So you can actually earn, some people earn $100 just putting affiliate links, not necessarily on their own pictures, but helping sell other advertisers, something like that. In some ways, it is similar to affiliate marketing, but it is with individual products on individual pins. If people actually make a purchase, you earn a commission. There are also people, so these are moms teaching other mommies how to make money on Pinterest. Become a Pinterest virtual assistant today. So that's a client testimonial. We won't listen to it today. You can actually watch all of these if you're interested to make money on Pinterest. You could see the Mary Straight, try to understand the Mary Meeker Internet Trends Report. We don't have enough time, so I'll go straight. But these are interesting links for you to listen to. This is where those numbers will come from. So how social media are, and
global government debt,
and what's happening in our world. This is since 2016. Mary Meeker is a very accomplished internet analyst, and I would suggest that you try to listen to some of her conferences if you have time. Stop. Let's watch a few videos. People on Pinterest. This is just 1 minute. Meet Jay.
I use Pinterest for style. I use it for travel inspiration. Literally every part of my life is illustrated through Pinterest. My name's Jay. I live in London. I recently redesigned my entire wardrobe. And then when it came to the time where I was like, got nothing to wear, nothing fits, I looked through all of my older boards and I started noticing a theme of what I liked. When I'm creating boards on Pinterest of outfits I want to try out, Pinterest basically becomes my shopping list. It's kind of helped me to know who I am and who I want to be. And it's been really fun to explore who I am as a person through Pinterest.
Visual boards. Who you want to become, you put it on your Pinterest. Let's see more. So these are all the how to make money through Pinterest. You can watch actually Anastasia Blogger. This is actually a very good website. A blog, a channel. Anastasia Blogger. She helps people if you want to be interested how to make $50 every pin and so forth. So that's how she makes her living. And she also helps people how to make money on Pinterest itself. So what else should you know about Pinterest? Well, there are some contests such as Pinterest made me do it. You could see that some people, of course, a lot of people actually use Pinterest, right, redecorating their homes. So that is one way to actually see Wayfair sales. When people got into the pandemic, everyone was redecorating their home, do-it-yourself projects, and so forth. So how they would remodel their homes. Pinterest right now has been falling straight from $90 all the way to $68. We wanted to explain to you more numbers rather than just the chart. So now you know that you can collect recipes. This is where it started. You can save articles if you want to read some interesting tidbits and information. Pinterest has all the infographics you want when you try to search, and you want to weigh your options when you're shopping for a couch, a home-related thing, a wedding idea. I remember when people were getting married, all the ideas they wanted to do is just search on Instagram or search on Pinterest. So, because everything when it comes to wedding is about the visual. You don't know what wedding dress you want, take a look in Instagram, take a look in Pinterest. Whenever you spot something interesting out on the web, you just click your new pin it button and pow, you've got a visual bookmark linking right to the site where it came from. Let's go to all the news articles so that you understand Pinterest even better. So these are some of the news inside Pinterest. Pinterest data is showing that the search for a post-pandemic life are on the rise. Gen Z is leading the way out. Pinterest supports Mental Health Awareness Month, shedding light on emotional well-being. We all know that COVID pandemic was stressful, and Pinterest is one of those apps that really helps people in their mental health to avoid depression. Anyway, let's watch this. Let's read this together. Increasing U.S. adults are already getting vaccinated. Pinners are placing their post-pandemic lives. Looking ahead, more socializing could look like. Gen Z searches are up 96%. They are doing this, coming for inspiration in reclaiming their lost pandemic year. Throughout the quarantine, they were searching for baking, mindfulness, home organization. Now trends are going into vacations, outfits hitting an all-time high. So the interest is still continuing for the home. Renovations are still at all-time high. Housing boom showing no signs of stopping across the country. Searches for weddings have also resumed pre-pandemic levels after seeing a dip of March to May of 2020. So basically, Pinterest searches are a leading indicator of what the economy will become. Searches for vacations are accelerating faster than pre-pandemic levels. Vacations spiked in March, an average of 24% in the prior 2 years. This year, vacation searches are increasing 75%, 3 times as fast. This is what we call the revenge travel. Gen Z is planning for their milestone vacation, dream vacation destination increasing 13x, and luxury vacation increasing 6x. They're also shopping, vacation fashion 3 times greater, even looking to make that vacation glow permanent with travel tattoos. So for those Filipinos out there who doesn't think that vacation will ever happen, it's actually a time to buy some of your airline companies in the Philippines, such as Macro Asia and Cebu Pacific, while you have time. Okay, and you are seeing the following things. What to wear as we step out of the video chats. So a lot of people want to still have great outfits after they move out of the house. There's been a 26% increase in the outfit search. An outfit in April year to date is up 85%. Gen Z is getting bolder. The trend is fashion and accessories for bolder, maximalism, Y2K outfit ideas, 60s and 70s fashion. People want zebra pants, pleated skirts, clay rings, hippie jewelry, nose chain piercing, and for beauty, they're looking for makeup makeover. Alternative makeup, puppy eyeliner. Okay, let's take a look at further searches happening. Searches to socialize and entertain are trending up. So they all want to have a party with their friends, holiday season. So these are party life, 3x greater, euphoria party ideas, backyard dinner party, party food buffet. So when you're doing parties, you're meeting your friends. Dinner date outfits, also 30 times greater. Hotel room parties, group tattoo ideas, 13x greater. So when you're going group tattoo, they're probably going to go to the beach together. Home renovations are still on the rise, which actually means that all the people who own construction building stocks should be happy because this means that your homes are still going up. Or Zillow, if you're just wondering which other company would grow, the ticker symbol is just ticker Z, Zillow. We are long Zillow. Pinterest searches tells us that people are excited about renovating their homes. Searches, so also if you think about it, renovation for homes, Wayfair, furniture. Searches for renovations are at all-time highs. Searches in Q1 2021 are 28% greater, in Q1 2020, 65% greater in searches. Gen Z took to their spaces, redecorated their homes to be ultimate escape. Home was their safe haven, but maximalism is on the rise. They're renovating 5 times greater, trending decor, grand millennial decor, indie room. Sage green aesthetic is 32x. Indie room is 132x, and eclectic homes. Regardless of age or interest, one thing is in common. Everyone is positive about the outlook tomorrow. So everyone is bullish about tomorrow. Let's read further some news. What exactly does this Shopify, e-commerce, Pinterest relationship have? you've seen that Shopify had great numbers. GME, gross merchandise volume, increased. So what exactly is how Pinterest helping Shopify, and how does Shopify help Pinterest? Helping merchants around the world, Pinterest is expanding to 27 new countries. Shopify merchants can advertise on Pinterest through Shopify for a direct dynamic retargeting for the first time. This happened when? April 21, 2021. So this is something to look forward to in the next 3 quarters ahead, or just the next quarter ahead. Take note, Pinterest is also launching the multi-feed support for catalogs. This is a new feature allowing businesses to easily upload their products into their same Pinterest business account. Shopify merchants, as well as any retailer with a Pinterest business account, are now able to add up to 20 product feeds to their account, each indicating specific local data such as their currency, language, or product availability. They can upload feeds to serve different advertising strategies such as prospecting or retargeting. Because 97% of the top searches on Pinterest are unbranded, consisting of just 2 to 3 word queries, majority of customers aren't typing a brand name. On Pinterest, businesses have an equal chance to be discovered by 450 plus million consumers. This is what I'm saying. There are now 500 million. They're nearing 500 million customers. So let's say you are a cookie baker. Nobody knows what cookie they want. So all you need to do is let them search for cookie, and they'll find your chocolate cookie chip. This unique mindset of Pinterest makes you actually searchable like any other brand. Provides a valuable advantage to small and medium-sized businesses to gain more visibility because of the relevancy of their content and the quality of their products. The future of e-commerce 2021, according to Shopify, says this. Everyone, 84% of the global respondents have shopped online. As a result, many merchants seize the opportunities to step up a shop on Pinterest to provide an online shopping experience, recreating, browsing the store aisles, seeing curated collections from retailers and price comparisons. On Pinterest, catalog feed uploads increased globally by 14x from March 2020 to March 2021. Pinterest is an inspirational place to shop. That's why we're expanding Shopify, helping merchants in 27 more countries to grow their shopping presence on Pinterest globally. Small and medium businesses need to have the opportunity to thrive on Pinterest because they connect with customers in a positive environment. They are early in their decision-making journey, full of purchase intent. You're looking for wedding ideas, you're going to buy some wedding decors. And that wedding decorator wants to talk to you as well. You're looking for a wedding dress, that designer wants to talk to you as well. So with the retail ecosystem profoundly evolving over the past year, we're committed to support merchants of all sizes, providing them a quick and easy access to our shopping features without the need to edit code or deploy resources so that they can inspire consumers what to do or buy next. Discover is the top thing on the mind of Shopify merchants. Social commerce has been a driving factor helping independent businesses build meaningful audiences. Guys, if Google today is $2 trillion because it succeeded in text-based search engine, could a $35 billion company such as Pinterest be a $200 to $300 billion opportunity 10x next time? If it helps merchants shop straight, taking commissions straight. So let's take a look. A few customers are saying the following. PDP Awala, the Spanish disruptive jewelry brand, set up a shop on Pinterest to reach out to new customers. Currently, Pinterest is already one of the most important channels for PDP Awala in terms of attracting new customers, engaging with customers who interacted with the brand but didn't buy. It's actually a key element of our retention strategy. Undoubtedly, the integration with Shopify represents a simplification of the campaign structure, leading to an improvement of the results. 2 people win. Shopify, the merchant, merchant, Shopify, and Pinterest. Rothy, the sustainable fashion brand, has been using Pinterest shopping features through Shopify to connect with shoppers. As we grow Rothy's product assortment, we want people to discover our collection of shoes, handbags, and accessories. Pinterest enables us to provide a curated browsing experience with frictionless shopping features through Shopify for the latest style, color, pattern, reflecting real-time changes in inventory. It's their next phase of growth. So Koshi Mart is a Canadian small business selling Japanese and Korean beauty and lifestyle products for consumers who have an interest in Korean and Japanese beauty products. So the integration with Shopify just gave us a set of new audience. We uploaded our product catalog on Pinterest, created a product pins, which we turned into shopping ads. Leveraging Pinterest for our existing Shopify catalog allowed us to give customers pricing, availability information on a brand new platform. With Pinterest, we saw a 3.5 higher return on ad spend than the industry average in Canada. Pinterest is instrumental in reaching audiences we know are inspired by Japan and Korea. There's more successful stories you can actually read further, but I will share to you the most important part of the earnings report. So you already know that it's nearing 500 million. These are the monthly active users of Pinterest, 478 million, growing 30% every quarter. So from 5,000 to 500 million, that means 30% every quarter. Next quarter, it's 650 million. So that's still amazing, guys, year on year. Next year, 650 million. All right, so the average revenue per user, just so you know, the global average is $1. The biggest increase would be international. So their international has already doubled from 13 cents to 26 cents. The US is 50% increase in digital advertising spend. Why would digital advertisers spend more? Because they could see that the customers are actually purchasing. If you were spending $100 inside Pinterest platform and you could see a return on that expenditure, you will continually use Pinterest for digital advertising. So right now, in case you want to know, their revenues of about, this is their users, their revenues is about $1 billion, and all of that is digital advertising. You could see it, where's that digital ads? This is their monthly active users. This is their revenue. So if you add this, 700, sorry, it's more than two, this is 500 plus 700, 1.6 billion. So there are roughly about $2 billion a year right now in terms of sales. And it's still growing 80% year on year. So 2 billion growing to about, if it's going to double, let's say 4 billion. And then maybe one day, 8 billion. So it's a great it's a great revenue company. It's growing. That's your digital advertising. Why is it growing? Because your user base, no matter if it's just 500 million or 600 million, are likely to spend. So they may not be there every day, but they will be there when they want to spend for a vacation or something else. Okay, so adjusted EBITDA, it's already getting profitable since Q3 2020. From Q1 2020, it already is profitable. The company is already almost times 3 from their IPO. Their IPO was about $19. Right now, it's about $60. So it's times 3. It's a $30 billion company today. If you ask me, should buy, $60 is okay. So I hope that you will learn more about Shopify and Pinterest working hand in hand and how a small company would have inspired you. Actually, before we finish, let's read the things 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Bloomberg Business Week talked about why Pinterest, which was an image sharing network, is hot. It was visually inclined. Says here that people had an experience of peanut butter cookies, Barbie sleeping bags, photos she saw on Pinterest. It was centered around finding, collecting, sharing images across the web. I don't have time to go to several websites that I can trust. I want an encyclopedia of images, and that's Pinterest for me. So for moms, do-it-yourselfers, home cooks, brides-to-be, they wanted to go into this company, which was Pinterest. Pinterest had a VC who put $27 million during 2011. The appeal was simple. It looked like just a bulletin board, a curated collection of photos such as food, clothing. So people love the site because of its simplicity. Once you know what you want, it's image centric, so it's attractive to browse. Pinterest was created by Silberman, Paul Sierra, Evan Sharp, three of them. So Silberman collected insects and stamps. They wanted to collect things, but there was nothing that they could see online. So that's something that they did for regular people. Okay, so you could see that in 2011, that was $3.3 million. It was just 418,000 in May. So once you become big, it took a time, no? Their first 9 months was the hardest, 5,000 users in the first 9 months. But after that, 5,000 to 400,000 to 3 million. Now it's 500 million. Amazing things happen in 10 years. And when I see these types of stories, this was 2010, it makes me think, wow, you could start a company 10 years ago, never knowing that you will be a $30 billion company 10 years after. That's Pinterest for you. And it makes you dream that small things can actually become very powerful things. What are the more important things to discuss? How Pinterest and Shopify started. Do you think that the market today is actually not looking again, misunderstanding this huge opportunity? 10 years ago, Pinterest was just a photo sharing company, perhaps. Right now, take note, Pinterest and Shopify helps merchants sell better, e-commerce. So nobody actually talks about Pinterest is a visual, right now people just talk about a visual discovery engine. Nobody talks about Pinterest, this image sharing network, actually being an e-commerce partner. So let's read more into this e-commerce solution. With product feeds, that means that their average revenue per user will grow. If you think as an advertiser that these sales prospects are converting 90% of the time, you would spend more dollars, digital ad dollars, inside Pinterest. And therefore, if the question of a bull thesis is absent in your mind, it means this one. If I was a digital dollar advertiser, if I could see international growing to $1 or 5x, then this global average will grow. Similarly, when you see these users, these are your US, but this is your international. Your international growth is 400 million that could grow to 1 billion, or let's say not 1 billion, but just 500 to 600 million. That's still a lot of people, a lot of countries to actually help. So that, I think, is the main idea here. If you wanted to invest in Facebook and Google prior to their 10x, you have an opportunity today in Pinterest. It's up to you whether your misunderstanding is a missed opportunity or make it your 10x. That's it. Thank you very much. Hope that you learned something today and learn more. Bye-bye.